Okay, everyone, so it's tournament season, so I thought I would give some three rules or tips for tournaments if you want to have a good tournament experience and maximize the amount of fun and knowledge you can gain from this. So, without further ado, let's go to our rule number one. Rule number one is to be confident. I remember when I got TO'd and was unable to play a special game, I was not sure who to put in as my replacement player. But Robbie, one of the best players on the site, actually the best player on the site, told me that Z Factor should go in, and I was like, what? Z Factor? I don't think he said 2K. Why does he get a special game? And he told me because Z Factor is confident and he won't be scared. And that's actually really important because a lot of people get scared and nervous, and that makes them play really bad. But Z Factor is a very confident guy, very sure of himself, and that's a great quality to have. And as you can see here, his confidence let him play many games, and he won most of them, netting us a net 14 points, winning very pivotal games because he wasn't scared and he was not unafraid to share his voice. So, you should be confident like Z Factor, and it will get you very, very far because if you're scared and not talking, people will auto fast you, you know what I mean? So, you have to talk and chat a lot, and even if you misspeak, you can always try and recover whatever. It's better to say nothing. I mean, it's better to say something and look stupid every now and then than to say nothing and just be auto fast or being silent. So don't be silent, be confident, and make your voice heard. Talk a lot, you know what I mean? And and don't be all wishy-washy. Okay. And now we go into our rule number 2. Stay out of tournament VC. And I'll show you why. This is the Dunning-Kruger effect, but an SH version. So, in the tournament VC, there's 30 people there and they're all yelling, and most good players realize that you can't really teach someone anything about the game when there's 30 people yelling over each other, so they don't really bother to do so. This is why you don't go to the tournament VC, especially after you have just lost a game, because there will be a lot of very angry gamer men screaming at you. And they are usually very bad players because the good ones know that nothing productive ever happens in tournament VC. So to give you a bit more of insight into this kind of player, this kind of person to scream, the tournament VCs are just totally unproductive. Most of the people in there who talk in them just parrot whatever Pingu says, or they call out random nonsense, and if they're wrong, then they just don't care because no one cares what they say. But when they happen to be right by pure luck, because you have an over 50% chance of guessing if someone's lib or not, they then proceed to say, oh, that game was so easy, that game was so easy, because no one remembers all the times they were wrong. But they are wrong a lot. Probably more times than the average player is wrong. And this is because most good players know that nothing good ever happens in tournament VC. Because in order to review a game and to learn a lesson from it, you need to have a back and forth conversation. Why did you lib this fascist? Well, I libbed them because they said, my chat was really good and they played this blue here. And then the high elo player can go, well, that blue there is actually forced because he has to play that blue to bring his fascist into the game. And then you can go, oh, okay. But if you had that conversation with this guy in the room, they'd be like, why'd you lib that player? I lib this player because I played blue. And then be like, oh, you're stupid, and what the fuck? How can you lib someone when he had this terrible line of chat, Gov 20, I think Pingu saw it, so, you know what I mean? It's this guy is stupid, and there might be a lot of guys like that in the tournament VC, guys who, read the iconic guide and think they know everything. As you can see, this is the Dunning-Kruger effect. People who know very little have very high confidence, and these are the kinds of people who are always yelling in the tournament VC. So if you try and talk to someone, then instead of getting actual good advice in this voice chat, you will be mansplained by someone who doesn't know what they're talking about. Yep. And to be honest, this is kind of the case in most of the tournament chats, especially after a game just happened. So, yeah, it's pretty bad. This kind of player is just a real kind of, I'll just be honest, kind of a nuisance to the site. The green player who, throws a game, blames their team, cusses them out, and then gets blacklisted and then complains that the people on the site will just blacklist new players instead of teach them anything. even though they just scream and don't listen whenever someone tries to make them not stupid, because their ego is so big. So yeah, there's a lot of these players in the tournament VC, and it's kind of gotten a reputation for being shitty, which is why there aren't a lot of people who want to play VC games, and it's also why there are a lot of people who just won't talk there. So it's pretty shitty most of the time once a game ends. Like, well, let me put it like this: it can be normal and chill. Um, like, just it can be like a good place to like talk and hang out with your friends and stuff, but don't listen to any of the advice there. And for the love of God, if you lose a game, or even if you win a game, just don't go in there right after a game happens, because it will just turn into a screaming fest, because gamer men can't handle that someone threw a game of SH, you know, that 30 people in a voice chat were able to solve. It's almost like when you have 30 people in there who there's, a pretty good odds that, one person will, in that 30 people group, will know someone who's playing the game and what they sound like is Lib and Fash, and they can kind of solve together. But you know what I mean? They don't really think about other people's point of view. They just scream and get angry. They just mansplain and yell, and it's very bad. So stay away from the tournament VC, especially right after a game ends. You will never learn anything in tournament VC. Okay, so now we move on to rule number 3. And that is to ask good players on your team for help instead of going to the tournament VC. And you should probably do this in your team chat, or like maybe in DMs or whatever. You can have your like captains or like, good players on your team backseat you. The captains might not always be that good, because captains are like drafted based on popularity more so than skill, although being good at the game makes you popular, so usually they are pretty good. But these first and second round picks are pretty much always good players to ask for advice. So like if you like DM any of these players and ask them to teach you something, you'll get some good advice from them. So you should definitely like ask like the good players on your team for help in private. Like, this site is normally dead as fuck, so if you want to like actually learn something, then this is pretty much like your one chance, because this is the only time where it's actually in a high-low's interest to teach you something, because they want you to be good and not fuck up their team. So this is like the best time to get advice to improve as a player for probably months until the next tournament happens, so make sure to take advantage of it. So anyways, I think this is all of the rules. I think I covered everything. Oh, wait a minute. There's one more thing. I wonder what this is. Oh, shit. I wonder how this got here. Well, so we're just going to pretend that no one ever saw this and end the video. Bye-bye.